Hey, it's Jason the Money Man Medley, and one of the things that we want to do in getting you prepped for this week's training call about private lenders, okay, and how vital they are to your business, is we want to kind of give you, like, for lack of a better term, a talk track on how to communicate with these people, okay? Because after we teach you everything about how to find these people, you're still going to kind of know what to say and how to say it, all right? Now, anytime you're out, we're going to cover a ton of marketing techniques, okay, on how to find these people with the money who'd be interested in lending you money to secure your deals, all right? But outside of the marketing techniques that we're going to teach you on this week's training call, we also want to talk to you about what to say. And then you've always got the proverbial question. If you're out networking or you meet somebody who's got some money and you're conversating a little bit, they're always going to have the proverbial question, what do you do? Okay? And before we talk about how to answer that question, there's a couple things I want to talk about in regards to the characteristics or how you look at framing the answer to that question, okay? And there's two key words that I want you to think about, all right? Two key words. Your answer needs to do two things. It needs to establish trust and pique interest, all right? You got to be realistic here, guys. You're going to be asking people to lend you hundreds of thousands of dollars on your real estate deals, all right? Now, granted, in exchange for that, because they give you the ability to close with cash and to close quickly without qualifying, you're going to be able to give them a much higher return than they're currently getting on their existing investments that they may have parked in a CD or a money market or some financial institution or a brokerage of some sort, okay? But the two key things that you need to think about when you answer that question, what do you do, is you've got to establish trust and you've got to pique interest, all right? Because you're asking to borrow money or you're going to end up asking to borrow money, you want to be able to describe what you do where you establish trust, because again, we're talking about a lot of money, and you want to pique their interest. You want to almost, when you tell them what you do, you want to almost have them asking you, okay, how can I get involved? All right, that's the goal. Now, when you are describing to someone what you do, the thing that you want to do is you kind of want to make it about, not about yourself, but about the people who are involved. And I put this statement up here, and I'm just going to kind of read it to you. I'm going to read it slow, that way you can get it and comprehend it. But this is how you should kind of frame your answer to that question. I'm a real estate investor here locally in Dallas, all right? And I basically show people how to receive a 10 to 15% return on their investment, which is secured by real estate, which has been purchased well below market value, okay? Now, one of the things that you're doing is to try to secure trust is you're establishing a few things. Number one, that you're local. So they're always going to be able to see you, touch you, know where you live, know where you work, okay? The other thing is that you're telling them that their investment is going to be secured by a property it's been purchased well below market value, okay? So you've established some trust there. Hey, I'm going to provide you something that's safe, and I'm here local. I'm always going to be close by. And you want to pique their interest because you throw out some potential returns, all right? And you can tweak this. It doesn't always have to be 10 to 15%. Maybe when you're negotiating with a private lender, you want to start out lower. Maybe you say 8 to 12, okay? Again, that's something that you can do based upon your market area or whatever you feel comfortable with, all right? But you've piqued their interest because you've talked about typically whatever number you put out there, again, is going to be a higher return than they're probably currently getting, all right, in their existing money markets or CDs, or if they've got their money parked at a financial institution of some sort, okay? Now, one of the keys here, too, is that a lot of these people, what we're going to show you on the training call this week is very much driven around how to find people who have IRAs that are self-directed and how they can use those IRAs to help you fund your deals and at the same time take the profits that they make, put it back tax-deferred, all right? So if they can do that while at the same time making a higher return than they're currently getting, then you're going to be golden, all right? Now, the other thing that you want to do after you pique their interest and establish trust, okay, there's two things you want to do. You want to frame, okay, the rest of the answer by letting them know that you help others, and then you've got to close, all right? If you don't help other people, they're probably not going to be interested. They want to know, they want to get a good feeling from you in their gut that you're helping other people in this process. It's not all about you and you hitting a home run on a real estate deal, but that you genuinely care about them as an investor and making it worth their while to get a higher return, okay? And finally, you've got to close. Eventually, it may not be the first meeting, maybe it's the second or whatever it is, but you're eventually going to have to close, all right, and ask if they or if someone they know would be interested in participating in something like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish out the latter part of the answer that we're talking about here to what do you do, okay? And effectively, you're going to tell people that I get to grow my business, and in the process of growing my business, I get to show other people how to make very handsome returns that are much higher than what they are currently making on their existing deposits in the banks or money markets or CDs, okay? And then you want to close, all right? Do you know anyone who would be interested in earning 10 to 15% on their money in a safe investment, all right? Now, folks, when you ask that, you've got to ask it with confidence. If you're meek, if you're timid, you're probably not going to get the answer that you want, even if they are interested. You've got to be convicted, because if you're not convicted, then they're not going to feel that you can actually deliver what you're talking about, okay? So, again, you've got to establish trust. You've got to pique interest. You've got to show them that you help other people by giving them a much better return via a very safe investment versus something that may be boring and less rewarding that they're currently getting in an IRA, a CD, a money market, okay, savings account, whatever it may be. And then you've got to close, all right? Now, that's how you answer that question. But you always got to end it with the close. We're going to talk to you on this week's training call about a whole lot more as far as a lot of other marketing ideas. This is obviously from a networking perspective when you're out meeting people. But again, it's all in your delivery. Okay, it's all in your delivery, and that close is very important. You're just asking them if they know somebody that would be interested, because what you've done, the first part of that answer is pique that interest, okay? Looking forward to seeing you guys on this week's training call. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Jason the Money Man Medley signing out.